Hey everyone, so happy Thanksgiving. It's a couple days past now, but I'm finally back home. We were out of state visiting some family for a few days, and now I'm back. Got a couple more days off before I go back to work, so spending a little bit of time out in the garage. The video you're getting ready to watch is where I start my initial inspection of the car after the summer. Take the wheels off, look around everywhere, just making sure everything looks as it should, and taking the time to do a lot of cleaning. So I've already started thinking about a few other videos that I'll be making. If you guys have checked out my 2024 winter projects video, you'll kind of have an idea of what I'm planning on doing. And now I'm just kind of working through, the sequence, the order of those different projects, how I want to go about it. So again, hope you enjoy the video. Let me know what you think, and I will be back soon. Talk to you later. Bye. All right, let's get some of these wheels off and start looking at how everything's worked out over the summer. Got a breaker bar here, got a thin-walled socket for the lug nuts, and I've got it wrapped in some electrical tape just to keep from scratching or chipping the rims here. I'm just breaking them loose. We got it set on low. And let's take a peek here. So take a look through. Got a rolled lip on here. Does look like I'm still rubbing from time to time though. Brakes, rotors look fine initially. You can see I've got a 1/2-inch Maximum Motorsport hub-centric spacer on the driver's side. I have a 1/4-inch spacer on the passenger side to even out the wheels on this axle. Looking at the brake lines, I don't see any signs of rubbing or damage or leaks. Looking up in the wheel well, I do see a rub here. Springs look fine. Shocks seem okay. I don't see any signs of anything leaking or damaged on them. Exhaust. I don't see it rubbing anywhere. It's really close, but it's not rubbing anywhere. Emergency brake. Got a clamp on it. Both clamps look good. Yeah, I'll keep looking, guys, but I'm gonna look at the wheel next. All right, let's take a look on the outside first. And I don't see anything. Let's look at the back side. This is where I wanted to really take a look and make sure there's nothing going on. No gouges or cuts anywhere. So that's good. I'm just seeing right on this edge here. You can see it's kind of shiny. That's where I'm rubbing from time to time. So I may need to massage the wheel well a little bit to make it stop doing that. And I'm just gonna wipe everything down as best I can with some of this goop wipes, kind of degreaser. Then I'll come back later and get everything wiped down again with just a regular towel. Just help look a little more closely for any kind of leaks or damage. Yeah, it's dirty, all right. That's definitely loose, so I need to check into this screw here. All right, I cleaned up all my hard brake lines. Looking at them, I don't see anything wrong. I wiped down this side of the axle tube, so that's all good. I think I'm about done with this side. I got my BFH here, and I'm gonna try to massage this spot a little bit. I was looking at some 1/8 inch spacers, and I thought I could put a 1/8 inch spacer back behind this one, and that would just pull it out enough to not have a problem anymore. But the more I thought about it, that might make a problem on the front of the tire and the wheel well out here. So I'm not gonna mess with that. I'm just gonna try to give myself a little bit of clearance right here and call it a day. And that's all I want to do. Took a couple whacks at it. I don't want to crack anything. I think I just got it to move enough. We'll see if that helped out. And while I was at it, I just tapped on the edges to just push the edges in a little bit all the way around, and a little more here because I saw a little rub mark there that I didn't notice before. So I just kind of tapped that in and give myself some clearance around all these edges. Now it's time to put it back on. All right, now for my car, I'm supposed to do this to 85 foot-pounds. You guys need to check your own specs for your car. And there we go. And let's check out the passenger side here. Start taking a look around. I don't see any rubs up in the inner fender well on this side. Emergency brake cable looks fine. No signs of rubbing on the wheel. Okay, I'm gonna set this down, take a closer look, and start cleaning everything up. And looking at the inside of the wheel, I've wiped it all down, and I don't see any signs of rubbing or gouges or anything like that. So I think the passenger side is good. And everything looked fine on this side too. All right, well, I've checked all the springs, the emergency line, the brake hard lines. You can see, I did notice that hard line has popped out of that little clamp that the breathers connect to for the axle. So I need to pop that back in. I'll see if I can get that. Yep, I'm gonna have to kind of bend that tab a little bit more so that it doesn't pop out. But I've got it back in there now. I doubt that would have really caused any problem, but I found it, so I'll take care of it. I checked my fuel lines, wiped them down. I'm not seeing any issues there. Everything's free, nothing's pinched. And away from the exhaust, you can see I've got some like door edging that I put around the lip of the fuel tank, so if I'm messing around up against it, I don't get myself cut. Did that on both sides of the tank. So yeah, got all this wiped down. I did notice this is a little loose, just like the one on the other side, so I'm going to take care of that here in a minute. All right, so now I've to the front passenger side, and we're going to get this guy off and start looking at the front of the car. So first we'll take our breaker bar. You know the drill, so I'll just pause it here until I'm ready to get this thing off. Okay, so I don't see any rubbing on the back side of the fender well, and I don't see any rubbing on the front, so that's good. I'm looking at the painted section first. Looking at the fender liner, not seeing anything. Looks like that might be a rub right there. That I'm talking about right here. That does look real shiny. Looking at the brake line, everything looks fine there. No issues that I can see. No leaks. Shock, the strut looks clean, dry. And the extra braiding I put around the flexible brake line, I don't see any rubbing on it. That's good news. The Brembos look dry. Ball joint. Tie rod ends, sway bar, bushing. Everything so far is looking good. I'm gonna start wiping everything down, pay more attention, and I'll come back and let you know if I find anything. Well, I've got the tire up on my stand here, and I'm not seeing any scrapes or rubs anywhere on the rim or the tire. I don't see any weird wear pattern at all. So even though it looked like the plastic liner, wheel well liner had a little rub, it should have been showing up in here somewhere if it was hitting anything hard, but it's just the plastic. So the tire looks perfectly fine and the rim looks perfectly fine. So I'm real happy about that. All right, well, I wiped everything down and we'll get this wheel back on, and this side is done. Oh, and by the way, if you're ever just wiping stuff down and you accidentally wipe down your rotors here, put some brake clean on to get it cleaned up real good before you put your tire back on. Let's see what we got on the driver's side. So no rubbing there. No rubbing there. And it looks like I got some rub going on the extra sheathing I put around the brake line. So that's the second time now that I've come across that on the driver's side. So we're gonna have to address that and get the orientation changed a little bit there. I don't see any signs of leaks or damage to the hard brake lines. All right, initial glance, everything looks good except for that, and that's a big deal. We don't want to rub through the brake line. So that's a good thing to find. So I'll get in here, clean everything up, take a closer look, and let you know what I find. Okay, so actually I do think I have some rub going on right here. I thought I would find some somewhere, because when I make a really sharp turn, I could hear a little bit of rubbing in the front of the car. And that's where it's happening right there. Because keep in mind, I have an 87, so I have the smaller wheel well opening, but I have 18-inch by 9-inch tires and rims on the front. So I do have steering rack limiters. That's really helped out a lot, but I found my culprit right there of what I've been hearing. Again, it's not very often, but if I make a real sharp turn, I do hear something, and there it is. Okay, I've wiped everything down, looked everything over again, back. And what I did on here is I put even the hard, rigid plastic loom over top of the brake line, and then I have the other braided loom on there. So I can't really make this orient differently. I mean, it's locked in by how it attaches here, and it's locked in by how it attaches back there. There's not a whole lot I can do to make this take a different shape, so I've just put more protection on the brake line. If it starts to, you know, continue to be a bigger problem, then I'll have to figure something out. But maybe I could cut off that tab and angle that a different way, but I don't really want to do that right now. I'll get the tire back on and get this car jacked up in the air further and take a look at it from the back side and see what I can figure out. Okay, looking at the inside of the driver's side rim and tire. Tire looks perfectly fine. I don't really see any weird marks, cuts, scrapes, anything like that. Got this one back on, and since it's not down on the ground, I can't really torque the lugs down to 85 foot-pounds, so I'm gonna zip tie not torque sign on here and make sure I don't go all winter and forget that. And so yeah, my memory's not the greatest, so this will help me out. And there we go. Once I get it up on wheel cribs for the winter, then I will get those torqued and not have to worry about it any longer.